Video opens with a grainy black and white photo of a seemingly ordinary baby. Suspenseful low-frequency music begins to build in the background. Have you ever wondered how a single individual could alter the course of human history so profoundly? How an unknown boy from a small town could rise to command a nation and plunge the world into its deadliest conflict? This isn't just a story of politics and power. It's a chilling chronicle of how ordinary beginnings can lead to extraordinary evil. To understand the cataclysm that was World War II, we must first look at the man who ignited the flames. Cut to an old photograph of Braunau in Austria. The color palette is dark and desaturated. Our story begins not in the grand halls of Berlin, but in the quiet border town of Braunau in Austria on April 20th, 1889. Here, Adolf Hitler was born to Alois and Clara Hitler. His childhood was far from idyllic, marked by a strained and often violent relationship with his authoritative father, a civil servant. The young Hitler was a reclusive and moody child. He found solace not in his studies, where he was an average, uninspired student, but in the world he could create on his own terms. Transition to images of Hitler's early, rather conventional paintings of buildings and landscapes. The music shifts slightly, becoming more melancholic. His one true passion was art. After his father's death, and against his family's wishes, a teenage Hitler moved to Vienna, the vibrant cultural heart of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, with dreams of becoming a great painter. He applied to the prestigious Academy of Fine Arts, only to be rejected, twice. The Academy's verdict was a crushing blow, stating he had more talent for architecture than for painting. Cast adrift, he spent years living in homeless shelters and men's hostels, selling postcards and small paintings to survive. It was in the political turmoil of Vienna that the seeds of his venomous ideology began to sprout, absorbing the rampant anti-Semitism and pan-German nationalism that festered in the city's underbelly. The music intensifies. Archival footage and photos of World War I trenches, explosions, and weary soldiers fill the screen. Include a famous photo of a young Hitler in a crowd celebrating the war's outbreak. The outbreak of World War I in 1914 gave his life a new, terrifying purpose. Eager to fight for Germany, he volunteered for the Bavarian army. For 4 years, he served as a dispatch runner on the Western Front, a dangerous role that saw him face constant enemy fire. He was decorated for bravery, receiving the Iron Cross, but he remained a low-ranking corporal. The experience of war forged him, but it was Germany's defeat and the humiliating terms of the Treaty of Versailles that shattered his world. Lying in a hospital, temporarily blinded by a poison gas attack, he learned of the armistice. It was at this moment, he later claimed, that his true mission was revealed: to save Germany and avenge its stab in the back. Show images of post-war Germany, economic depression, hyperinflation, and political chaos. Then photos of Hitler giving speeches to small crowds, his gestures becoming more and more animated. Returning to a Germany in chaos, Hitler became a political intelligence agent for the army, tasked with infiltrating radical groups. One such group was the tiny German Workers' Party. But instead of spying, he discovered his most potent weapon: his voice. At a party meeting, he delivered an impromptu, fiery speech that captivated the audience. He quickly rose through the ranks, reshaping the party into the National Socialist German Workers' Party, the Nazi Party. With Germany crippled by economic depression and political instability, Hitler's hypnotic oratory offered simple scapegoats and grand promises of a restored national pride. He mesmerized the desperate populace, turning rallies into quasi-religious spectacles and himself into a messianic figure destined to lead Germany back to glory. The screen shows a rapid montage. Hitler being appointed chancellor, massive Nazi rallies at Nuremberg, burning books, the invasion of Poland, and a map of Europe slowly being consumed by the Third Reich. The music reaches a dramatic, ominous crescendo. In 1933, the unthinkable happened. The failed artist and obscure corporal was appointed Chancellor of Germany. Within months, he dismantled democracy, establishing a brutal totalitarian dictatorship. The world watched as he rearmed Germany, annexed Austria and Czechoslovakia, and finally, in 1939, invaded Poland, triggering the Second World War. His reign of terror led to the systematic murder of 6 million Jews in the Holocaust and the deaths of tens of millions more across the globe. The once aspiring painter from a small Austrian town had become the architect of unprecedented destruction, a chilling testament to how a single, twisted vision could unleash humanity's darkest impulses. The final shot lingers on a haunting, close-up portrait of Hitler. The music fades slowly, leaving a feeling of unease. And so, the journey from a quiet Austrian town to the ruins of Berlin was complete. It's a stark reminder that history is not just shaped by grand armies and sweeping events, but by the complex, often dark journey of a single human heart. For in understanding how one man could lead a nation down such a catastrophic path, we find a timeless warning for all generations to come.